hierarchies. Gonna mix it up a little bit with the opening song. Let's see if there's anything else that's worth covering just before we start. Oh, they cancelled the Damian Wayne game. Great themes. That one's pretty operator. He's the best. But yeah, there's a lot to discuss here. Honestly, the EU getting big wins on consumer rights. Honestly, when it comes to consumer protections, the EU are actually really good. Like I think especially. Yeah, okay, they're awful on Gaza. Let's be serious. Like von der Leyen and that group of people are just absolutely terrible. But I think when it comes to consumer rights, they're doing really good work. In terms of the charges and stuff, that's pretty great. Getting universal standard is so great. I'd have to go to someone's house and to plug in my phone. They're like, "Oh, you got an iPhone?" I'm like, "No." Like, "Oh, I've only got an iPhone charger." I'm like, "Why?" So it's handy. It's good for e-waste as well, which is great. So yeah. Just last minute topics, but there's not much going on. It's just nonsense. But yeah, people messing with the Royal Guards and whatnot. A King Boo t-shirt for £10. Ooh. Or just Boo, sorry. Anyways, as I was saying before I get sidetracked, yeah, when it comes to charging and stuff, the EU doing good work, so you can get an extra backpack on your journey abroad.
As we were just hearing, have different dimensions. Now, what Ryanair is doing is saying, okay, 40 centimetres, we're already doing that, and 20 centimetres across here, we're doing that, so we're compatible there. It's the dimension there where it wasn't wide enough. So they're going to add 5 centimetres to that, which means that the volume you're allowed to take is actually 1/5 larger than it was before.
So this bag was allowed previously?
Well, yes, because I just make sure I scrunch everything in.
And are you saying this bag underneath? Why is this one here?
Right. Well, this is because it explains why they are doing it. This is a roll-along case, obviously, and the European Parliament wants all the airlines to allow you to take 2 pieces of cabin baggage, because we used to be able to do that, if you remember. I mean, if you go back 20 years, there wasn't an issue with cabin baggage. You could check in bags for free. Then they started charging for check-in bags. Then everyone thought...
There's a race to the bottom, that's why, because they want to have all the cheapest flights. And then they lock you in and then bam, they hit you with fees.
Well, I'm going to take it all on board. Then they started charging for roll-along cases. And the European Parliament, some of them are saying, we think it's a fundamental human right to take 2 bags on board.
Okay, that's a bit of a stretch. It's more luxury than anything.
To try to stop that, the airlines have got together and said, we're going to standardise our allowance. That's what Ryanair is doing. They're not actually saying we will all have the same allowance, because as Naga was pointing out, they're all very different. But what they are saying is, if you've got a bag of 40 by 30 by 15...
So this is super nerdy, but that's probably the only fun topic we're going to have for the day, because the rest of it is this. Okay. That'll make more sense over here. Right, let's go. Another reform politician has been suspended.
So this story relates to James McMurdoch. He is the East Thurrock and Basildon MP, and he suspended himself after we contacted him on Thursday with a series of questions concerning allegations that he took out tens of thousands of pounds in COVID loans.
So this is when the government were giving out a lot of money with very, very minimal checks.
He, in one company's case, used an entity that had been dormant and appears to have used that to obtain £20,000. There's another company of which he was the sole shareholder and director, which took out £50,000. If that had been a bounce-back loan, one of the government-backed loans made available to medium-sized businesses over the course of the pandemic, that would require him to have had a turnover of at least £200,000. Now, we put to him that both these companies had negligible assets. It's not clear what business activity they were performing. Obviously, we always want to be exhaustive and fair, and so we gave him plenty.
There was honestly such little oversight. I wonder if this guy might have been in the VIP lane. Who knows? But when it came to a lot of that COVID stuff, I guess the VIP lane's more for procurement, but with the loans and stuff, we know David Cameron was trying to get rid of a load of dodgy loans and things from Greensill at the time.
Plenty of time to come back to us. Instead of giving any information, he went to Lee Anderson, the chief whip of that party, and asked for himself to be suspended pending an investigation. There's separate calls now from the Labour Party for the parliamentary authorities to examine the fact that he didn't disclose his directorship of one of these companies, not to get too into the weeds, but in one case he transferred the company to his mother. He does remain the director of one. He hasn't disclosed that on his register of interest.
And that's quite important, isn't it? If you work in politics, you have to declare these things.
You're supposed to declare these things. We've invited him to clarify if we've misinterpreted the rules, but response to that specific point, there came none. And the thing which is interesting as well is that both of these companies failed to file accounts. That's a criminal offence under the...
So failing to file accounts is generally a sign that a company is just done. Like there's something where it's the most dodgy companies. Hello, Mashoud.
The Companies Act, and they were due to be wound up, but then on the same day, the registrar, the company's regulator, received an objection from a third party, and that's as a result of which they've been banned from winding up. There's some sort of action taking place, which means that 2 years after they would otherwise have been dissolved, they still exist in legal form. So there's lots of questions and no answers so far from Reform.
So wait and see on that one. I think it'll be a case of them saying it's under investigation, blah 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 blah. We cannot discuss blah 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 blah. Stay, keep your nose out, and eventually, when it blows over, he'll either be given the whip back because the story will be just pushed to a side, or he'll be essentially have the whip removed for something really really dodgy. What's the issue? So yeah, there's this, and there's a bit more. I think.
This story relates to James McMurdoch. He is the.
I think it's the same clip actually. To be fair, it's just a repost. I hate when people do that. I don't get why people do that. What's the latest? He's referred himself to the chief whip, and he's been suspended. That's the latest, as far as I'm aware. So this clip is from today, at the last few hours, really. So yeah, there you go. So the last few hours. It's fairly recent. It's good enough to cover this, really. And I'll probably do a separate video on it. This also from today's, a load of protesters being arrested for being against genocide.
Protesters have been...
So by saying you support Palestine Action, who have been regarded as a terrorist group, it's not really helping their case.
voicing their support for the group during the demonstration. Some were heard shouting, "I support Palestine Action," as police made arrests.
In this case, not a smart thing to do. I know people care about these causes, but there'll always be a Lupe Fiasco quote that I remember where he goes, going to jail, that goes against all my hustling ethics. And a bunch of jail people find that highly ineffective. So I do respect people for protesting like this, but it's not... I don't think it's going to get the goal that they want it to achieve, and, you know, they're just going to end up in jail for, like, nonsense.
Will British police arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he comes to Britain?
The UK is a signatory of the International Criminal Court, so I just wanted to ask if you can confirm that he would be arrested if he came to the UK.
You are told that Benjamin Netanyahu...
It's a compilation of everything else.
Not a matter for the Home Secretary.
There are proper processes that need to be followed.
Yeah, I mean, he should be arrested, really. Under Gandhi's statue for holding placards, a priest, a professor, Bedix, arrested for peaceful protest. It's not about terrorism, it's about silencing dissent history. They were arrested for showing support for prescribed terrorist organisation. The groups were prescribed. So yeah, you know, it's just dumb from the police. I'm not going to do a separate video on it, but yeah, this is important actually because of the yeah, you know, there's a massive hole in the finances again. You know, this guy here who used to work for the Bank of England, economist Steve Ebb, is what you call it? Yeah, he used to work for the Bank of England, so probably someone worth listening to on this one. About a £50 billion hole in finances.
What do you think the chances are that the Labour government will have to break their manifesto commitments?
I think it's pretty inevitable now. Given where we are, the economy's not growing that fast. They've rode back on a few of the promises, the cuts to welfare, etc., that they were going to do in the past. And to be honest with you, our view was that the Chancellor was already missing her fiscal rules, even back in March. So
that's interesting, because I don't think the OBR are backing that one. I think they're saying that her fiscal rules have been followed.
Things have just gotten worse since then. And it's pretty clear that if the Chancellor wants to hold to her fiscal rules, then she will have to raise taxes.
How much do you think she needs to raise?
Well, the IFS figure of 30 billion does not sound out of line to me. It could even be more than that. We calculated a gap of around about 50 billion when we last looked at the numbers, but certainly it's in that sort of ballpark, 30 to 50 billion.
It's crazy money, man. Absolutely crazy. And I don't, like I said, you know, the fiscal rules, I said at the time, very famously, also I will claim very famously that I went to bat against the fiscal rules, and I had an argument with an absolute clown about it. I hope you guys remember that, because boy did I lose a lot of brain cells doing that, having that argument with that absolute clown. But we did that, and yeah. So again, like I don't know, like I can't take a big enough victory lap on this point, which is that, you know, I told you guys it would be a problem. And it's probably the biggest problem for this Labour government, to be honest, because it's hampering everything else. It's stopping them do anything else because of the stupid fiscal rules. Because every time they want to invest money, it's, oh, can we afford it because of the fiscal rules, and all of that kind of stuff. So it's just It's just stupid to me. But if only someone could have predicted this. Maybe a young Asian brother, he could have predicted this. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know what to say on that point beyond just, yeah, I was right, I guess. But it doesn't feel it doesn't feel great. I'll be honest. Like, it doesn't feel like it's a win. If you see what I'm saying, like, because what did I win? Yeah, the curse of being correct, I guess. But just goes to show you, certain people should not be listened to. That's all that tells you. But yeah, they're all going wrong in Labourland. Yeah, no, it's not great, to be honest with you. That election happened I think just before my birthday, and you have so much hope, and it's my birthday again tomorrow, and you're just like, what the fuck's the point? With this politics stuff, because it's so easy to predict the future. Like, there's no mystery in it anymore. It's light work for me now. Like, it's not that bad. But I guess that's what happens when you get good at something. The world changes. It's cringe. I know what I need this for. So yeah, I don't know. I want to discuss this. I sent a message to the Labour Party before the general election. I didn't get a reply. Yeah, it's not a surprise, to be honest with you. I mean, if you look at the goons who are backing the Labour Party the most, where are they now? On this subject, genuinely, what are they doing? Because they're the ones who kept talking like they were going to do something, and in the end they just didn't. Like, what did they achieve beyond getting us more kind of austerity and more problems? Yeah, do you guys see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not convinced at all about it, but yeah. But yeah, I saw this press release, and I was like, are you guys, like, this is like, I don't understand how stupid someone could be to make this decision. I think, looking at this, I think Zarah Sultana's got bad advice. I think she's got really bad advice. I think there was rumours that she was going to be expelled from the party, right? And she should have just let that happen. Because, first of all, I don't think they got the guts to expel her. Because what are you expelling her for? What has she done? What has she done differently to John McDonnell? What has she done differently to John McDonnell and things like that? Nothing. Like, it doesn't make sense. So I don't, for them to expel her will look like, it's either racist or personal, or both. So she should have taken the expulsion. She would have got so much media coverage off the back of it. And then she could have said, look, the Labour Party are not good enough. What did they expel me for? Voting against the 2-child benefit cap, which is the #1 cause of child poverty in this country. What would be the basis of them to expel Zarah Sultana rather than any other Labour MP that was involved in those votes? It doesn't make sense. I think she was incredibly stupid to do this, to make this decision. And it's been a complete mess because of the fact that they wanted a co-leader system, and they wanted Jeremy Corbyn involved, and I don't think Jeremy Corbyn wanted to be involved. Not to this degree, anyways. He is an old man, by the way, guys. I saw No Justice video on it. It was quite good. Talking about, like, it can't be him. It can't always be him. Same thing with America and Bernie Sanders. Like, it can't be Bernie Sanders. Like, his time is gone, despite how popular he is. And Bernie Sanders is way more popular than Jeremy Corbyn ever will be. Their time is done. Like, these are old men who are going to be looking at retirement, or he'll probably die in office within the next few years. As sad as that sounds, you want to look to the future. Someone like Polanski, who, again, I still have serious questions about regarding why he joined the Lib Dems post-austerity, about why he actually joined the Green Party, given how different he is to the Green Party MPs and the councillors and things like that. I do, like I said, I do have questions for the guy. but ultimately he is the current of politics. He's tapped into something which many other politicians have not been able to tap into. He's got an energy around him, and so I think personally, it should be him. I think this new party could be stillborn before it gets started. I think the thing is, because it all depends on geography. Geography is the key question. I'll show you why. If we can find like a map. I clicked the wrong thing because I'm stupid. Great. That's not what I want. Oops. So this will, I think this is probably, why does this cost £250? What the fuck? You know, a lot of their support, I think, for the Green Party is in South England, down these areas. It's nice. It's a nice part of the country to be fair. I've been there recently. It's nice. So you know, you got to look at the different kinds of voters, and things like that. Like I think Coventry's like in the Midlands. Coventry's not far from me actually. How can Labour turn this around? All right, let me answer the other question, or the other statement first. I don't think it's stillborn. I think they have time to turn it around. But she's botched this really badly. Her team are terrible, to be honest. I think, I don't know. How can Labour turn? I think their best bet is probably is getting rid of McSweeney for a start, and it's probably relaxing the fiscal rules and giving it a longer period of time. Change it from 5 to 10 years to get debt down as a percentage of GDP over 10 years, not 5 years. That gives her a lot more runway to do more investments. I think what the government could also do is make bonds a more accessible thing, so that it's not just some investors in the city. You know, you could do more encouragement around kind of government bonds and things and get more people buying them potentially, because there's a lot of faff you have to go through to buy a bond. Which, you know, like I think that should, if they could make a system where it's much easier to buy and sell bonds, I think that'd be really good. Because I thought it'd be as easy as buying like a stock or something like that, but it's a weird system. Like I think they should make it like how stocks and shares are, to be honest, and put it on like, you know, the trading apps, and things like that. Yeah, I mean, their best bet is getting rid of that guy because he's a moron. That guy, he's not a clown. He's the entire circus. Absolute clown that man is. Like guys, we discussed this last year. Like he is not a genius. Like I stole this meme from No Justice. Where has it gone? This. So this is my Discord server. Rachel, I'm beginning to think Morgan McSweeney was not the brilliant tactician I thought he was, and it's the scene where Mr. Burns overestimates the power of Homer Simpson, and he's an idiot. So get rid of him. Either Reeves relaxes the fiscal rules, or she's gone. Get rid of Reeves. That's another thing they could do. You asked, brother, you can't ask me a question of how can Labour turn this around, and then be like, no, that you can't do that. You can't do that. Like that's not, you can't ask a question like that. Then, if I offer you realistic solutions, you can't ask a question. You can't say you can't do these fixes, which are glaringly obvious. Everyone knows Morgan McSweeney's the problem. Like, you know, this is the guy who wants to be hyper focused on immigration, despite the fact that you will never outdo what's his face? You will never outdo Nigel Farage on immigration. It's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. So what are you going to do? You focus on the economy. You focus on the NHS. The NHS, I think, is the number 1 or 2 polled issue in the country above immigration. You focus on that. You focus on the economy, and you make sure that you, like, what I would do is a question of fairness, equalize capital gains with with income tax. I'll definitely start there. I saw a thing. I think Rachel Reeves. I saw some articles today. There it is. Hopefully this works first time around. Yeah, there we go. This will go here actually. Yeah. Rachel Reeves says she cannot rule out autumn tax rises after damaging week. So, excuse me, Rachel Reeves has said it's impossible for her to rule out tax rises in the. Oh, she had a big drink. Despite a turbulent week for her and the government. So this from. I'm getting cooked. In an interview, sorry guys, in an interview with The Guardian, the Chancellor said there are costs to watering down the welfare bill. The Chancellor, in tears in the Commons, spooked the fiscal financial markets and raised questions about her job. On a serious note, I would love to have Long Bailey. That's not no. I would definitely not pick her. I would definitely no. I would not. She would not be my pick. No. I would not pick her. I don't think she's that bright, to be honest. And she's been very quiet as well, which is surprising. Largely very quiet. I don't know if I follow her on Twitter, but I've not seen much from her. Reeves said considered resigning her position despite being the focus of some Labour backbench anger. She said, I didn't work that hard to then quit. She said she regretted going into the Prime Minister's questions in tears after a tough day in the office. I hope people could relate to her distress. I mean, sure, people could relate, but do you know what? I reckon people would relate more to you taking away people's PIP payments. She says it was a personal matter, but it was the glare in the camera, and that's unfortunate because I think people have seen that I'm back in business and back out there, blah 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 fluff. I went to PMQs. I thought it was the right thing to do because that's where I always am at lunchtime on a Wednesday. In retrospect, I probably wished I hadn't gone. I mean, she should have gone home. Let's be honest. She should have just gone home. Like, trying to be the tough Iron Chancellor in this situation when people see you in tears, your image is gone. Like, your reputation is cooked. Her challenging moment in Parliament came in that week that a backbench rebellion forced the government to drop key welfare reforms, which leaves Reeves with a £5 billion black hole in the country's finances. So yeah, it's possible she's going to raise taxes, but again, that Reeves. She looks so different in that picture. Asked whether she was willing to rule out a tax increase, she said, I'm not going to because it would be irresponsible for a Chancellor to do that. We took the decision last year to draw a line under unfunded commitments and economic mismanagement, so we'll have to do something like that again, but there are costs to what happened. People talk about blue Labour and stuff like that, right? Like, these are just Conservatives, let's be honest. These are just, a lot of these people be Cameron-era Conservatives. Back to the main event, though. Sending Andy some info, so he just missed you coming on. Who's Andy? But yeah, as I was saying, anyways, so yeah, this is a big mess. So, oh wait, where's that clown gone? So originally, this guy here, Pogrund, who we cited earlier, was talking about how apparently Jeremy Corbyn was had not agreed to join the New Left Party. He was furious and bewildered at the way it had been launched without consultation. So apparently he was angry, and then you had Aaron Bastani firing back saying, yeah, I'm sure he's going to contact the guy at the Sunday Times. There's no need to question one's professional integrity and sourcing, comrade. Believe it. Essentially, that's what he's saying. And then you've got Jessica Elgott saying lots of people piled on Gabriel last night for doing very basic journalism or checking a story out, and he was right. But then he wasn't really right, though. And she goes, my colleague has more here on the differences over strategy and hierarchy between those forming the new movement. Hence, Corbyn first cautious statement, which differs to what Sultana. I mean, it doesn't though. Like, I could say Corbyn's in his house right now, and then say he smashed a plate in fury. What he could be at his house, but I haven't verified the fact that he smashed a plate. Like, this is like gutter journalism, to be honest with you. But like him being angry, they've got a load of text messages here. I'll show you. And things like that. Like, there's not much quotations, which is surprising. They talk about wanting consensus on a leadership position, things like that. But if you look at this, like, Corbyn's not here anywhere. Can you please refrain from like all this stuff? Like, it looks, like, honestly, it's pretty embarrassing. Andrew Feinstein, that's the guy who ran against Starmer. Leanne Mohammed, she ran against West Streeting. She almost beat West Streeting. And obviously got Jeremy Corbyn there. But I don't know. I don't see a point of another left party, to be honest. It's obviously the classic joke of the People's Front of Judea and all of this stuff, right? But I don't. I think it's dumb. I think it's a dumb idea. Like, I think if she should have stayed in, and she would have been the Labour MP who they cut to all the time whenever there's a bill, potentially. Just like who Dian Abbott is. She could have stepped into the shoes of Dian Abbott every time that there's like dodgy legislation or legislation that doesn't go far enough. You can have her, she goes on, she criticises Labour and says, I want them to do more in these areas. So that's what Dian Abbott does. But now she's just another backbencher in a crowd of backbenchers. Like, it is dumb. And like I said, if they expelled her from the party, the amount of media publicity she could have got would have been crazy. Like, like she's very big on TikTok and stuff, and she could have talked about it. It's like, what's the charge? It's like this video here. One sec. I'll show you one of my favourite videos. It's this. This is one of my favourite videos.
Look, I'm under. Look, I'm under what? Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before.
Oh, Jesus.
What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir.
I don't know where I was going with this point, sorry. I love that video so much. But oh no, that was my point. I know my point now. My point was, like, she would say, what was the charge of her being kicked out of the party? Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. Sorry, it's just so, what was the charge of her being kicked out of the party? Why? Because she she voted against kids being starved effectively. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, like, because if it, like, it doesn't make sense, honestly. Like, it just, if we should be back, guys.
Yet another new political party is coming, and they will be chomping at Labour's left.
Guys, they don't even have a name.
Flank. What we don't know is what that party will actually be called and who might be leading it. Let's play a little game of spot the difference between these two tweets. The first from Coventry South MP Zarah Sultana last night, saying, after 14 years I'm resigning from the Labour Party. Jeremy Corbyn and I will co-lead the founding of a new party with other independent MPs, campaigners and activists across the country. From Jeremy Corbyn, silence until 17 hours later, confirming the new party today, saying congratulations to Zarah Sultana on her principal decision to leave the Labour Party. I am delighted that she will help us build a real alternative. He says a few other bits in that tweet, but very definitely no mention of who will or will not be co-leading it.
OK, so a hint of friction there at the top of this new splinter party. Are there anything that Keir Starmer should be worrying about?
Look, it would be easy for Labour to wave this off, say they don't care, and a few of them have done that today. But this has been an awful week for Labour. That rebellion on welfare reform, that U-turn, highlighting the disconnect between Keir Starmer and his top team and many of the MPs they lead. That's a disconnect Zarah Sultana has been harping on about for months. Last year, she had the whip suspended because she voted against the government because she wanted to scrap the two-child benefit cap.
That's what I'm saying. Like, again, like, this is what I'm saying. I don't.
Swear to God.
Like, guys, like, voting to protect, like, voting against the #1 policy that keeps children in poverty. Like, I don't, like, how's that make the government look good? Again, it's just like this video. I want to put this clip in it. I'm just gonna keep this bit there.
Eating a meal, a succulent Chinese meal. What?
So look, this is all she has to say. What is the charge? Voting against children to stay in poverty.
Is the charge eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
Honestly, like, because it just like sorry, someone showed me this clip. It just makes me laugh, because is this honestly? Is this? I'm cutting out. It's me, but it's like, like this would be this would I think this would be the people's reaction. Like if you say like you can't be serious.
Hey, you swear to God, put that on put that on Allah. Say wallahi, bro. Say wallahi.
Like you kicked her out for keeping for voting to get kids out of poverty. Like let's be serious now.
Some time now, on the left and the populist left of politics. It is unfashionable to say in SW1 in the media sort of environment that we have, but there is a big appetite out there for that. We saw that in the Corbyn years. Never forget, Jeremy Corbyn, there were particular circumstances around it, but Jeremy Corbyn got 40% of the vote in 2017, way above what Keir Starmer got in 2024. There is an appetite out there for it. It wouldn't be a sort of necessarily a winning election coalition, but there is an appetite out there for it. I think the biggest encumbrance remains, however, as is always often the case on the left, which is, the phrase probably involves the word brewery and piss up. And even last night we saw, and there's been a lot of speculation about Zarah Sultana and Corbyn forming a new party, which could, and the polling suggests that if a new party like that could get 10% of the vote or something, which could be really damaging to Labour. But even last night, if you're going to do that, you know how you don't want to do it? You don't want to announce it via a tweet, which gets, 1,500 likes late on Thursday night. You want to have an event. You want to get television cameras there.
That's the point. Like, she should have she should have waited for expulsion. If she thought they were genuinely going to expel her, that's what she should have waited for.
You want an incredible social...
Because she's giving them a win. She's announced this. Can't hear you, keep cutting out. It says it's fine. I'm on connection excellent. I know some of the other guys have had issues like live streaming and stuff, but I think it should be fine. I'm not seeing any issues on my end.
Social media operation. You want to create some buzz and some vibe. And it became clear last night that it's not entirely certain yet whether Corbyn has actually even signed up to this. You could imagine a Zarah Sultana Corbyn-led leadership being very appealing to a segment of the population. There's a sort of hint of the sort of Bernie Sanders AOC, our version of that to it. But they're going to have to get their act together if they're serious about it.
I think that this question goes to the heart of what we have seen over the past 2-3 weeks playing out in the Labour Party, which is the biggest threat to Labour.
My audio should be fine. Like from what I can see on my software, it looks okay.
At the next election, reform.
Everyone's talking about it was lost, but it's the question of like, people are discussing it on a very the end of a busy week, but you could have done so much more. Like you could have done a much bigger release. The point where you get much more media coverage for weeks on end. All we know is it's botched. We don't know what the party name is. We don't know, is it going to have a singular leader? Is it going to have a co-leader? We know very little about what she's planning here.
In which case, do you become a more populist, anti-immigrant, sense the frustration, go for the grievance politics?
Oh, thanks.
In which case, Labour opens up and exposes itself to a lot of disaffected voters going left to the Green Party, but maybe now to a hard left party with Corbyn and Sultana at the head of it. Which way does it go? Where is the biggest risk to Labour? And you've got in Morgan McSweeney someone who believes that reform poses the greatest threat, the Chief of Staff to Keir Starmer, that reform poses the greatest threat, and you have to be talking the tough on immigration and the like, which Keir Starmer has walked back some of what he said, nation of strangers and all the rest of it. Or do you go and say, right, we're going to become a more left-wing organisation because the exposed flank we have are the Greens and the hard left and those people who feel disaffected that the Labour Party isn't left-wing enough. And in this very kind of split politics that we're in, febrile politics, where people don't have much in the way of tribal loyalties anymore, that's a really open question and a big strategic question. Going back to your point about what Starmer needs to do in the next year or so he's got to answer that question.
His vote share is going to get absolutely destroyed. It's either YouTube or OBS. I don't know which one. Both, there seems to be issues. Next week they can announce the name and get another column written about it. Then a week later, release a single policy, and every Thursday release. The thing is, like that's fine and all, but like, it's very possible that no one bothers to cover it because there's bigger news out there. like it just you don't soft launch a party like this. It doesn't make sense, especially when it looks very divided as is. You know, the fact that, like, at least if you have a name, that's something people can search up. And you know, Sultana's Twitter's on it's on private as well, so it's gonna be very hard for her to gauge actual support on Twitter and things. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing the vision. You know, Corbyn, a guy who's not very good strategically as well. It's a bit, you know, he is a bit sus, to be honest with you. Especially when, you know, like 2017, that should have been a Labour win, to be honest with you. There was no way that he should have lost that election, in my opinion, to Theresa May, the way it ended. But yeah, the more I think about back to that election, the more I think he should have really won it. Like, even if it was a slim majority, or, you know, just that bigger amount to the point where she couldn't have a coalition. May, I mean, it shouldn't have gone down like that. That's all I want to say. But yeah, I don't think this is a good. This is not the way to launch a party. You know, I don't think this makes any sense. I think she jumped the gun. I think she jumped the gun. She should have stayed. I think personally, get expelled by the party. You get a whole media, like you know, you'll get a lot of media coverage out of that. You know, what were you fired for? You know, it goes back to this clip here. What's the charge?
A succulent Chinese meal? For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal?
What is the charge? You know? And then, yeah, you know, put that on God. You know, is that really what you're firing her for?
You swear to God, put that on put that on Allah. Say wallahi, bro. Say wallahi.
That's what I mean. Like, you know, are you gonna honestly tell people deadpan that you fired an MP, right, for fighting for actual Labour values? Like, be serious. Be serious. And it would have made Starmer look like an absolute knobhead. Genuinely, I think he would have looked like an absolute idiot on TV talking about how they've had to expel this Labour MP for fighting against child poverty. So yeah, I don't know. I think Labour's problem is Labour itself attacking the people at Red Wall they spent years courting. I don't think Labour are really attacking the Red Wall. The Labour seems to be trying to kneel before the Red Wall as much as possible. A soft launch with the name coming later is a Nigel Farage exclusive. Is it? No, it's not. That's no. Come on, Nigel Farage excels in the rebranding of a party. He doesn't soft launch like this. I don't remember Farage doing a soft launch like this at all. I disagree with that. And even then, the difference is Farage has got the whole media wing backing him. Like this lot have a couple of goons on YouTube at a push. You know, GB News might cover them a bit favourably because it's easy clicks for them against the Labour government and saying, look, even lefties hate them. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing the vision. She got frustrated. I mean, yeah, you know, like, okay. No, I'm not going to be mean and say, yeah, she was bullied, but yeah, you know, most of the policies affect that area most, left behind towns. That's true, but it's not really Labour attacking them. I don't think. I disagree. I personally think she should have stayed in. Look, there is this clip that we're going to discuss actually in a minute. I'll discuss it first, but yeah, this is Andrew Fisher discussing this.
Clearly, people know what Jeremy Corbyn stands for. They know what Zarah Sultana stands for. They're very clear about it, and actually, I think that is part of the attraction, in that you don't really sense there are a lot of conviction politicians at the moment in British politics. And I think people who, you know where they stand, even if you disagree with them, even if you might not agree with them on every dot and comma, I think people do respect politicians who stand up for what they believe in and aren't afraid to articulate it and have an argument. Clearly, people know what...
Yeah, so, again, I don't know. I think... Just to be clear, I'm fundamentally an anarchist hippie. My closest representation is the Cooperative Party and the Green Party. Labour define themselves by class, and this perpetuates the hierarchy. That's fair. It's a lot of words. In terms of bullying, this is being discussed.
Being told by those MPs that they were shouted at by, there's one Downing Street official in particular. I was told
Morgan McSweeney, let's be honest,
of a meeting in which a couple of MPs were in tears as a result.
Yeah, there's one
of this.
Goodness.
So you'll remember the Treasury said to the Department of Work and Pensions, we think you can find £10 billion, to a large extent from reforming the personal independence payments part of the system. And you get asked some really humiliating questions when you're claiming it. Are you able to wash yourself from the waist down and that kind of thing? And then there's a point scoring system, and they changed the rules so that unless you got a minimum of 4 points...
Maybe she became physically sick being in the party. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, like I said, I don't want to be super mean to her, but it's like if that's the case, like you found it that unbearable, like within the party, I find it crazy that they've kind of launched this new thing so badly. Like if you said to yourself, all right, fine, I've had enough, I want to leave the Labour Party. You know, like, surely you plan an exit strategy better than this, unless you're doing it purely on emotion. I personally think she's got bad advisors and bad friends who have told her this is a good idea.
In any of the categories, you would not any longer be eligible for personal independence payment. And the government itself published research that showed that these changes would tip 250,000 people into poverty. And disability charities and lots of Labour MPs started saying that they thought that this would take money away from people who really deserve the money, really vulnerable people. And Downing Street refused to listen to these protesting MPs.
So, you know, for all of those people saying this issue should have been dealt months ago, like with Phil, like that's what Phil was trying to argue, right? It looks like Labour MPs were trying to deal with it privately. It's just Downing Street weren't listening. Morgan McDaddy was not listening to you guys.
Because the Treasury needs the money, and because Downing Street believes that it's a sign of the strength of the Prime Minister. And I've been told...
I don't think so. I think Starmer is listening to a goon who has no idea what he's talking about, and he's very insulated. It's very insulated from that. And so what that means is, like, he surrounds himself, I think, with yes men.
Downing Street was telling the rebels, if you vote against, you will never get a job in the government. You will never be on the payroll.
And that is not democracy. Oh, my God.
In fact, worse than that, I was told of a meeting in which they were shouted at by... There's one...
I hate when they use repetition like this. It drives me nuts because I've already heard all of this. So you're just dragging it out.
We tell you. But Downing Street basically...
It's an OBS issue, I'm telling you guys. Yeah, I'm here. It's an OBS issue. It keeps cutting out. So I can't do much about it. Labour doesn't realise the country is in crisis. Do they care? Nah. All they care about is winning the next election. That's it.
Shouted at by, there's one Downing Street official in particular. A couple of MPs were in tears as a result of this.
Goodness.
But Downing Street basically said to them, you are our servants. You will do what we tell you.
That's not a way to run anything, is it?
It's not a way to run anything. It was an absolute calamity.
Goodness.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this idea that Labour MPs should have dealt with it quietly is the most ridiculous statement, because they tried, and this is the response they got. They were told, no, you listen to us. And, this is John McDonnell discussing this.
So it's been a catalogue of disasters, and it all leads back, I think, to them not having a clear strategy about how they want to reform our society overall, because they're terrified of looking radical.
As I mentioned in my introduction, I don't know if you heard it, they've singularly managed to upset both ends of the income scale. They upset the rich people who are now heading for the exit, and have upset vulnerable poor people who are relying, counting on Labour support.
I keep asking people, is there anyone out there that we haven't really cheesed off at the moment? And a lot of the good things that we've done them in a way which actually is pretty mild-mannered. They're not as big and as enormous as they should be, facing the inequality and poverty that we've got. And that's why I think one of the key issues here is that the reason they've made these mistakes is because they've centralised power so much, and they're not listening to people. If they'd have just sat down with a group of Labour Party members or backbench MPs and said, this is what we're going to do on disability benefits, they would have known from the beginning it was going to be a disaster.
So yeah, like, they could have asked anyone about this, and they would have known. Will do what? Yes, pretty much. I mean, like this is the mentality of leadership at the end of the day. Going on to our second, essentially the slop half. No, it's not that fair. The clown half of the show.
And going back well before I ever started discussing politics on YouTube, I absolutely deplore people using political parties for their own personal platform.
What did I mark to?
The likes of Jeremy Corbyn have almost nothing in common. I've seen it all my life. People on the hard left who spend so much time attacking others on the left that they barely had time to complain about the right wing casually dismantling the country.
So
even when they were,
But
this is the fault of the country. Like, you notice the hard left cannot even get behind Mamdani in New.
So who is this is what I mean, like when people don't leave sources, right? There's like who is it's fine. Who is criticizing Mamdani? Like, who on the left is saying this guy's not enough? Like I've not seen I've not seen any criticism of Mamdani at all. Like from the left, like everyone seems to love the guy. Like my younger brother was telling me about him, like unprompted. He was like, "Oh, have you heard of this guy? He seems cool." Mum was listening to one of his videos. Doesn't listen to mine. Listens to his. An interview with Mamdani. Like, that to me that requires evidence. And fair enough. I've stopped listing sources as well, but you'll see it on my screen at least. No sources.
Have actually been nationalising quite a bit. There's more nationalisation gone on than any time in my lifetime.
That's because more privatisation happened. Like the thing, like this guy doesn't get is he demands Labour get credit for doing the bare minimum expected of a Labour government. And it's like, oh, why aren't you giving them credit? Why aren't you giving them credit? It's like, because we know you're meant. That's the bare minimum. It's like when the Conservatives do austerity, no one's like, oh my god, I can't believe the Conservatives did austerity. It's baked in. We know who they are.
Why aren't they going, oh well, we wish you did more, but at least this is good? No, there's none of that. There's none of those things. You only have to look at their social media feeds. Even housing, like social housing, why aren't they promoting all the thoughts about the formation of this maybe tanky party? I have a couple of specific ones. The first, I've said for years, and going back well before I ever started discussing politics on YouTube, I absolutely deplore people using political parties for their own personal platform. The likes of Jeremy Corbyn, Zarah Sultana, they've never been Labour.
They've never been Labour, okay.
No, you think to, oh, but Phil, no, they're just criticising the bad policies. Okay, so why aren't they promoting the good ones? Are they saying they're opposed to the new workers' rights coming online?
So let's have a look at these workers' rights, right? Let's have a look. So this is not the one I want to discuss. It's somewhere here. I've got the sources. Here it is. Employment Rights Bill, a step forward for workers, but stops short of making work pay. Unite the Union has welcomed the publication of the employment rights. So you can say, oh, we've given them credit or whatever, but it says it stops short of making work pay. The Unite welcomes positives from the bill, but also flagged issues such as the government's failure to ban 0 hours contracts on fire and rehire. So clearly they're not that enamoured by it. They don't seem to love this bill either. But to Phil, this is enough. This is enough. Like we should accept this as is. That's what it seems to. That's the impression he seems to be giving off here. You've got here Unite Union says Labour's workers' bill has more holes than Swiss cheese over 0 hours contracts, for example. While others have hailed the employment rights bill as bringing a seismic shift for workers, Keir Starmer has been urged to go further in his bid to shift the balance of power. And that's the whole point. Like, people don't want incrementalism. Like, I don't get how this guy doesn't understand that. People don't want incrementalism. They want fundamental change. And so by them criticising these bills, that's what they're trying to get. They're trying to get more out of them. If all you do is if you give praise and say, oh, I wish it was better in this area, all they'll hear is, oh, if that's praise, I'll take that, bye. That's it. They've watered down these bills from manifesto level constantly. So stupid, honestly.
And they're all about.
So for 12 months, is this sped up? No. So for 12 months, the PM, the Chancellor, the PA are making decisions without discussing with their MPs. Yeah, they're not discussing with MPs.
The workers, aren't they? Why aren't they promoting the workers' rights? Oh,
because it's got Swiss cheese, bro. They've got more holes than Swiss cheese. That's what Unite Union. That's what one of the unions is saying. So that's what Sharon Graham of the Unite Union is saying. Yeah, they give some credit and say, look, it's good. But at the end of the day, they want the end of the what do you call it? The 0 hours contracts.
Interested. Social housing, they like social housing. Why aren't they promoting all the boost for social housing? Because they're not interested.
Labour aren't. I don't think Labour are. Look, Rachel Reeves said last year there'll be no more money for social housing, right? So are Labour actually building more social housing? So Labour have said they're going to build 180,000 new social houses. So this is from this is recent. This is in the last couple of days. But yeah, it will take 6 times the number of social housing. It doesn't. Where's the money going to come from? The Chancellor backed by a £39 billion investment by Chancellor Reeves in last month's spending review. This one's fair. This is a fair criticism. Has she actually discussed this? He's probably right. I don't know if she has done. If Zarah Sultana has mentioned this on her Twitter, but I don't even know if he's done a full video on this. So I don't like what does he want them just to just to give 80% praise and 10% criticism? Like, I don't get it. Let's see. Can I search? Oh, I can't remember how to use Twitter search. Bear with me, guys. I remember how to do this. What is advanced search? Right. There's a way to do it, but especially when I think she's more focused on Gaza than anything, which again makes some sense. That's the piano sound of Found Nothing. But when you look at her Twitter feed, right, asking the Prime Minister about Israel committing Gaza genocide, we stand for solutions, not scapegoats. Talking about billionaires and inequality, about the F-35s. The enemy of the working class, it travels by private jet, not dinghy. Again, that's somewhat, Labour have demonised people doing channel crossing. What would it take for police to explicitly call out Islamophobia and racist culture in the country? She doesn't look like she actually does tweet a lot, to be fair. So, I don't get what his criticism is. Like, what more, do you want them to just tweet endlessly in praise?
Labour have actually been nationalising.
The fact that you don't know about it enforces that nobody is praising it all. That's partly true, but again, this has just been announced a couple of days ago, in a week where because Labour don't know. It's true, Labour don't know how to do comms, right? Wednesday the 2nd is when it got announced. Now, do you know what else was announced during that time? It was the whole PIP stuff. That's why.
Quite a bit. There's more national.
I'll show you, because from what I remember. From what I remember about the social housing stuff, Reeves said there would be no more money for social housing. So from what I saw, Labour plans more restrictions on right to buy. Now, let me get this tab up. So this I did see. This I was okay with. It's not, newly built social housing will be exempt from right to buy for 35 years under new government plan to scale back policy. That's fine. I'm not against that, them restricting right to buy. That's fine. Did I see a lot of coverage of this? No. Is it that big a story? Not really. So it doesn't, that one's not that great. So crunching the numbers behind Labour's 180,000 new social houses. So this is the Sky News article. So it'd be 6 times greater than the number of social houses built in 10 years. Forms so it's fine, 300,000, but from what I remember, them saying kind of pre-election there would be no more money for this. Deputy Prime Minister called on the social housing sector to work to turn the tide of the housing crisis. So is this going to be houses owned by the councils, or is this going to be houses owned by housing associations? So I don't know. So Rayner's target for social and affordable housing is part of a wider long-term plan from the government, due to be published on Wednesday. So here Sky News confirms what the plan would mean. So this is old, but is there a ton of detail even here? 39 billion 10-year affordable homes plan is an ambitious investment in affordable housing, representing a real terms increase program of over 1 billion annually. However, claims of the biggest boost in a generation might be slightly overblown when factoring in inflation. There was, however, a notable short-term uplift, and the sector will welcome the stability of the new settlement proof. So if you look here, it is pretty massive, the amount. I think Phil's video on an annual review of Labour is more balanced, where he gives praise for Rayner for managing to get money out of a fiscal Tory Reeves. I mean, that's fair, but Labour always said they were going to build more houses. Just a question of where the money's coming from. But if you look at how anyone would know about this story, considering that they released it in a week where they've gone to absolute war with themselves, is it a surprise no one's really talking about this, especially when the bigger problem was the PIP stuff anyways? You know, like, if you look here, there's not, like, even, like, in terms of press coverage, there's not a lot here. You know, Labour can be mad about that, but in terms of comms, Starmer hasn't even put out much about this. So, you know, like, it doesn't make sense. So demand praise when Labour themselves are barely talking about their own policy, being mad at Zarah Sultana for not talking about it. It's just ridiculous.
Nationalisation gone on than any time in my lifetime.
So they've nationalised the trains because the contracts are running out. I mean, okay. But again, the Conservative government had to nationalise some trains anyways. Some train services temporarily. Like, praise for that when they're not going to nationalise the rolling stock. I mean, okay.
Why aren't they going, oh, well, we wish you did more, but at least this is good? No, there's none of that.
I mean, like, is that really what you're demanding? Like, you know, like, because again, if you give them the praise, they're not going to take the criticism. They're just going to be like, okay, this is good enough then.
None of those things.
Because if you know, we saw Labour pull back on getting rid of 0 hours contracts, right? They said originally they would get rid of it, and they pulled back on it. And so, do you think if we just praise the workers' rights bill and say, oh, well, you know, all of these things are great, I wish you would do something on 0 hours contracts, but, you know, all of this is great. It's like, that's not how you negotiate.
You only have to look at their social media feeds, even when they were members of the party, to see them spending. You look at their feeds and they're spending all their time attacking Labour. Almost occasionally they remember they're supposed to attack the Conservatives, but if you look at their...
My brother, like, why would they attack the Conservatives when the Conservatives are no longer in government? No, why would you bother talking about a party that's irrelevant? Like, you only do that for views. You know, their main beef is with the people in charge of the party because they're the ones in charge of the country. It makes no sense to be constantly attacking the Conservatives. Even the Labour ministers don't do that.
Almost all of it is an attack against Labour. And it's like, oh, but that's only for the bad policies. So why aren't they promoting the good ones? No.
Again, the good ones are pretty mid. Like, again, with the workers' rights bill that you keep glazing all the time, there's not much. It's good, it's okay, but it doesn't deal with things like 0 hours contracts, which is a massive problem in this country.
I'm sorry.
They haven't scrapped 0 hours contracts, no.
Labour MP who attacks their own party more than any other is not Labour.
Damn, that Jess Phillips must be cooked then, because you've got, you know, you had all of these Labour workers getting rid of you know, trying to stop Corbyn winning, and, you know, Jess Phillips saying, yeah, I'd stab Corbyn, I'd stab him in the front, you know, when talking about, you know, them kind of looking to backstab him, she said she would stab him in the front. So, you know, I guess Jess Phillips should have been kicked out of the party then, no?
Right? You cannot...
You know, you had many MPs undermining Corbyn. So, you know, they're going to kick him, you know, they should have been kicked out, right? They should have been banned, right? You called for them to be expelled, right?
Not blame the current leader.
Oh, wait, you're the guy who said in 2019, you know, you don't have to vote for Corbyn, you could vote for whoever, just don't vote for the Conservatives. That was you, bro. That was you. And so you're the guy who keeps talking about, oh, these guys are Tory enablers, they're not voting for the party I want. Oh, it'll be nice when we go and see... What? What the fuck does that mean?
Leadership, because it's how they've been under every leadership.
Go and see Big Maj Studio.
Except their own. My standard, and when they were in charge, they demanded absolute loyalty.
No, they didn't, you fucking moron. They didn't. Because if they did, half these goons would be gone. People like Reeves and stuff would be gone. You know, do you think he would have kept Jess Phillips stab him in the front?
From everyone else, right? I don't care if you disagree on this thing, you're going to agree with every policy to the nth degree.
It's complete garbage. It's complete garbage because Corbyn didn't want a second referendum in the manifesto, but the membership wanted it, and that's why it was there in the 2019 general election. This guy, honestly, I'm telling you, I think this man, he's on Twitter constantly. His brain is mush. You know, talking about how the hard left are attacking Mamdani. Who is attacking Mamdani?
That's their attitude. So no, the hypocrites, go away. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool. So, you know, when Labour lose the next election, the hypocrites go away. They're going to vote Green. Fine. That's on you. That's on you when Labour lose then, I guess.
Standard response to these MPs is always, nobody forces you to stand for a party. You have the option to stand independently or join another party. But of course, they wanted the party to pay for their election and their campaign, but refused to accept the responsibility of promoting the party in return. even on the stuff.
Evidently, they have promoted the party. That's how they won. There's no way they would win without promoting the party. They would their donations would partly go through the party as well.
They agree with or claim to agree with. So I fully support people like this leaving Labour to form their own party. There are a few others I think should do the same. Mind you, they may have to be careful joining this new party. See, the problem with...
So name them. Name who else you think should leave. Should Clive Lewis leave? Clive Lewis seems very much out of kilter with the Labour leadership.
Political groups where you are expected to agree on absolutely everything to the nth degree is that they always end up splitting into more and more groups. Basically, they're like the Judean People's Front, are they?
He's not 100% wrong here with that point, because that is an issue like left parties have.
Do that rather than just join the Green Party. After all, if you believe what you see on social media, the Corbynites think that the Greens are the real left-wing party. We just join.
I mean, that's kind of... I mean, they're waiting for Zach Polanski to win, really. That's the point, you know, because they're not a real left party, because if they've got Adrian Ramsey who's running again to be leader. The
Greens. That's where a load of them left after the election. Well, I think there are a couple of possibilities there. First of all, Corbyn and Sultana are tankies, as I say. That is, they are aggressively anti-West. They support all military campaigns by anti-West governments.
So are you saying that Zarah Sultana supports the Russian invasion of Ukraine? Is that what you're saying here? Like, genuinely, do you really believe that she supports the Russian invasion of Ukraine?
Even when it involves phosphor bombing your own people, they just don't talk about that much.
I mean, that's pretty dodgy to me, Guy, honestly.
And aggressively oppose Western...
He's laying out the course in the same way he laid out the course for sticking by Labour. Don't split into the Judean front if you oppose to Israel. This man, honestly, yeah, this man's straight caps.
...backed campaigns, even when it's for the literal defence of their existence, such as in Ukraine or Kosovo. So the Green Party aren't...
So wait, are you saying they supported the genocide in Kosovo as well? Is that what you're arguing here?
Extreme enough for them. And it's not an area they're willing to compromise on. This is their big...
The reason, like, you wouldn't join something like... They wouldn't want to join the Green Party because they would want control over wherever this new party is. That's why. Thanks, James Holmes, for being a member for 14 months. Crazy, isn't it? How fast time's gone. That's before the general election.
See, if you look at their extracurricular activities, it's like, okay, sure. They can post a few tweets about taxing the rich and sticking up for workers. Yeah, that's
easy. Post more than a few tweets, mate.
You can do that a few seconds, right? But look at the projects they actually invest the time in. It's military campaigns. It's quite funny.
Like stopping the genocide in Gaza, yeah, sure.
Stop the War is literally promoting military campaigns 100% of the time. They're invested in military campaigns. They oppose some, they support others, they come up with excuses for others. But
so they support 100... Wait, what?
They oppose some. It's quite funny. Stop the War is literally promoting military campaigns 100% of the time.
Stop the War is promoting military campaigns 100% of the time. So they support every military campaign. That's what he's arguing here, right?
They're invested in military campaigns. They oppose some.
So first they support 100% of campaigns, and now they oppose some. This man is reading off a script, by the way, guys. He's actually reading off a script. Like he's planned and rehearsed this.
Support others. They come up with excuses for others. But all predictably marked out. You can tell, doesn't matter who starts a war, you can always tell which side they'll be on by whether it's an anti-Western force or a Western force. Doesn't matter who the aggressor is. Because that's what they really care about. It's not workers' rights, otherwise they'd be promoting the new workers' rights coming online. It's not tax policy, although...
Again, with the workers' rights bill, like, it's not enough. Like, it's genuinely not enough. Like, it's not hard to understand.
Actually be promoting the fact that Rachel Reeves has raised tens of billions of pounds extra on the rich, exclusively on the rich.
In what policy, apart from the stuff on private schools and putting more tax officers in HMRC, has she raised the rate on them? Has she equalised capital gains with income tax?
They're not talking about that. They're not saying...
Oh, you're barely talking about that. Look. Let's look at what you're talking about, Big Man. Let's have a look. Let's have an actual look at your channel, right? So let's see. Are Reform's new splinter group a game changer? What Corbyn and Sultana's feud? That's the video we're looking at now. Hancock shows no remorse for care home people, revolutionising mental health with a game-changing plan, which is okay. Where's the stuff on Reeves and the rich? Where is it? You know, you post so much stuff on Elon, stuff on Badenoch. Where's the stuff on? Where's the stuff on these new taxes? You're barely covering it, bro. Like, be serious. Be serious. Like, oh, is that it? The fee paying stuff. Okay, you know, that's a policy Theresa May, you know, was talking about. That's how progressive it is.
This is actually really good.
As in, by progressive, I mean it's okay.
but she should do more. No. They're not even talking about that.
She should do more. Like, bro, you can't. This is the type of guy who wash the plates in the sink and demand praise for like a whole month. Like, bro, like it's such a minor policy to get rid of that VAT thing, that VAT exemption. It's not a big. If you want big bold changes, a big bold change would be going back to the old 50% tax rate. A big bold change would be a land tax, which you keep advocating for. A big change would be changing the electoral system. These are big changes. What this man's advocating for, he can't be serious. Can't be serious.
So they don't care about tax policy either. They don't care about environmental standards. Their only concern is for those who should literally rule the world. They think they're thinking on that scale. Who should literally rule the world. So they wouldn't get on.
Oh, this man's a master at straw manning. Honestly, just beautiful. Straw man after straw man after straw man. He's a more eloquent version of Bowler Hat Man.
In the Green Party for long either. Much better to form their own party. Then one of three things will happen. First, they'll be shit and nothing will happen. Second, they'll be effective.
I'm sure you said that about reform, to be fair, and all the Tories and stuff that left to go reform.
And let Nigel Farage run the country for a bit. Third, Labour will sort themselves out and initiate electoral reform before their time runs out. And this new party will then have a choice.
It's guaranteed, isn't it? Look how sure of it he is.
Happen. Second, the party. So they wouldn't get on in the Green Party for long either. Much better to form their own party. Then one of three things will happen. First, they'll be shit and nothing will happen.
So this party's going to tank, right? It's going to do badly. Okay, that's fine. You know, we don't even know what their goals are. You know, are their goals to win a general election? Is it to win a few seats in Parliament? Is it just to hold on to the ones they have? You know, you don't even know what their aims and objectives are, but okay.
Second, they'll be effective and let Nigel Farage run the country for a bit.
So you're saying Nigel Farage will somehow win an election? So his predictions are guys, like, what the fuck? Honestly, guys, be serious. So they're gonna be crap, right? They're gonna be crap and ineffective, okay? And then somehow that's gonna let Nigel Farage win.
It'll be shit and nothing will happen. They could literally rule the world. So they wouldn't get on in the Green Party for long either. Much better to form their own party. Then one of three things will happen.
So let's slow this down, right? I'm gonna do the first. This is the first time in ages I've done this, right? Let's slow this down.
It'll be shit and nothing will happen. Second, they'll be effective and let Nigel Farage run the country for a bit.
So first they're going to be shit, then they're going to be effective, and that's going to allow Nigel Farage to win. So they're so effective, Farage is going to win off the back of him. So he's already got his scapegoat for when Labour shit the bed and don't get anywhere. He's already got his scapegoat, already planned this 4 years in advance.
Labour will sort themselves out and initiate electoral reform before their time runs out, and this new party will then have a choice: either learn to compromise for the first time in their lives and get a seat at the table.
Guys. So honestly, yeah, we're gonna do something else I haven't done in a video. Right? We're gonna go to transcript, right? I'm gonna go to transcript. I want to actually understand what this man's saying, because what he's saying here doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna read this out so I can actually understand this. First, there'll be and nothing will happen. Second, they'll be effective and let Nigel Farage run the country for a bit. Third, Labour will sort themselves out and initiate electoral reform before the time runs out. Before what time runs out? Before what time runs out? Like, if Farage wins, do you think Labour are going to come back in anytime sharpish and promise electoral reform? Like, the only way Labour are going to win is with the shitty first past the post system. Like, why would they change it? Your boy Tony Blair didn't change it. Your boy Starmer's not going to change it. Why would they change it? Like, this guy, honestly, like, how... Oh, my God. How are these people so shit, guys? Like, genuinely, like, they're going to be so shit at first, then eventually they're going to be good. Like, their time, not their time. I'm
Second,
listening.
They'll be effective and let Nigel Farage run the country for a bit. Third, Labour will sort themselves out.
So if Nigel Farage is running the country for a bit, that implies that Nigel Farage has won. It implies he feels that Labour are a mess, but also Nigel Farage is a success. Boy, like, guys, can someone translate this? Can someone relate this Philish to me and actually put this into words? Okay, because I didn't think I'd spend as much time on this as because I didn't watch I didn't watch all of this far. Like, guys, like, what is this? Seriously, guys, seriously. What the fuck is this? I'm baffled. What is he talking about? Like, look, I'm reading it. Okay, this is not an exact transcript because it's not, it's not going to be perfect. It's pretty good though. The YouTube transcript software is pretty good. But yeah, it goes. But so again, see, then one of three things will happen. First, one of three things will happen. So that's not even. That doesn't even make sense, because one of three things means that, like, it implies they're mutually exclusive. I say one of these three things will happen. No, surely he'd be saying all of these three things. Like, even his wording makes no sense. Like,
things will happen. First, their own party. Then one of three things will happen.
So one of these three things will happen.
First, they'll be shit and nothing will happen. Second, they'll be effective and let Nigel Farage run the country for a bit. Third, Labour will sort themselves out and initiate electoral reform before their time runs out. And this new party will then have a choice: either learn to compromise for the first time in their lives and get a seat at the table, or carry on sitting in the corner being mad at the world.
It doesn't. I mean, his wording makes no sense. But, you know, is he saying, you know, one of these three things are mutually exclusive, or is he saying these things will definitely happen? Because, you know, arguing they're going to let Farage run, you know, they're going to be effective and let Farage in. It's like, no. If this party are a success, it shows you how far Labour have failed. Like, he's so dumb. Like, parties lose elections. If you're the incumbent, you've lost. And the reason why you would lose is because you're shit. So, you know, generally speaking. So, you know, it wouldn't be them letting Farage in, it's Labour letting Farage in. You know, can we get some accountability, please, in the building? Some accountability would be nice. Just on this point. Crazy work. So I didn't mean to spend this much time on it. But, you know, there is evidence that, you know, Corbyn was undermined, but okay, whatever. No, they did work to get rid of him, but, you know, under his logic, you should get rid of Jess Phillips as well. And then we got this bozo, who I've been meaning to do a video on him for a while. I just haven't had the time, but this guy is honestly something else at times. Graham Hughes. His bias is that he's a staunch Labour supporter and he fails to be objective despite trying. I mean, his problem is that Labour won. You know, if Labour continued to lose, he'd be alright. His analysis would look fine, but he looks like such a dunderhead because of the fact that he looks like such a dunderhead because he can't get his analysis straight because he doesn't make sense. Should pour myself a drink, guys. Just bear with me for a second because I'm dying here. But yeah, genuinely, this brother makes no sense. I saw Tansky did a video as well, but you know, her video was actually good. Her video was actually okay. Like, I think she's a very prickly person. She's a very unpleasant person, but I think she's a lot brighter than these two, to be honest. Which is not saying much, but it's also saying a lot, if that makes sense. So two different things there. But yeah, you know, these two are idiots, but at least you know, she's smarter than them, I guess. But yeah, But yeah, this is what Graham was talking about. How I think, you know what, Graham Hughes is so Brexit pilled because he thought it's taken so many opportunities away from him, and some of the stuff he just makes no sense.
To do that, he gets flown in his private helicopter, his private jet. That's so.
What's this one I was meant to cover?
Someone else pays for because he's.
This is where he's mad that you know, rich people get stuff for free apparently, and they don't have to pay for tickets to Glastonbury.
Rich, and when you're rich, you get loads of free stuff. You think any rich?
I've never seen a guy be so mad that he's not a success in life, that he either didn't become wealthy or he wasn't born with generational wealth. I've never seen a guy so mad about this. Like, you know, something my friend said is like, I think we're having like a bit of a rough day, and he was like, yeah, you know, at least I got a house to go back to, I've got hot water, I've got food, and I was like, you know, when he said that, it kind of changed me a little bit because I was like. Yeah, I kind of forget how lucky I am at times. Like, at least I have a house. I have my room now, which is nice, amongst other things.
Person paid to get into Glastonbury. Do you think they queued up for? Well, didn't they went online and got a ticket? Did they fuck?
You know, like.
I mean, you know, little proviso there. I did for the first time in my life. The first time after 28 years of going to Glastonbury, I finally. Got myself in on a freebie.
So do you know how stupid and how entitled this man sounds? Like, going to Glastonbury is a luxury. It's a privilege. Like, it's very expensive to go. So being mad you have to pay to go to a music concert is crazy business. You know, talking about how rich people don't have to go. Do you know who else didn't have to pay to go to concerts? Rachel Reeves, Keir Starmer, people like that. They didn't have to pay. So you mad at them as well? Are you furious at them?
Even when I did a talk at Glastonbury a couple of years ago with Danny fucking Price and Super Tansky and A. Thompson, I didn't get in for free. I didn't get a fucking free fucking pass.
Oh no, cry more, pal.
I had to pay.
You had to pay to go to a luxury concert.
To get in. Oh, when I saw
F the Labour chipping Norton set. What does that mean?
Blair.
Thanks for the super chat, mate. I appreciate it.
Wembley Stadium a couple of years ago, I had to pay. In fact,
so do I, mate. You know, you don't see me. I had to pay. I think it was $12.50 to go watch my favourite band, Starset. Right? Do you know how much Starset tickets are now? Right? If I want to go to I don't think they're even doing a UK tour at the moment. You know, it's not been announced yet. You know, I'm now going to be upset that I can't see my favourite band. There's no results, guys. Look at that. No results for my favourite band. Oh, I'm upset. I can't even go see my favourite band. You know, do you think I was rich? If I was rich, I could go fly to America. I could go see my Drillers in action. You know, if I was rich, I could go see them. But I can't. How much are tickets? I could go to Belgium, right? I could go to. Wow, did they announce the set list beforehand? That's crazy. I didn't even know that. I could go, if I was rich, guys. I could go to Belgium. Go to Dessau. I could go to. I'm not going to pronounce that one. I could go to Castle Donning. Hey, where is this? That's gone. I've missed that. That's great. You know, I could go to these places if I was rich, guys. If only I was rich. If only I was rich.
When I went to see Blair at the O2 in Newcastle, right? I had to pay. I had to.
This guy, bro, how's his audience stomach this? Honestly, bro, it's just so much entitlement. I've never. Another way you get in for free is to be a lighting tech or stage. Yeah, but you're working. Yeah, those are useful things, but that'd be you working. This is crazy, man. I saw this shit and I was just astonished. Like, you know, my friend accused me of hate watching things. I do hate watch a lot of things. I do, you know, there's lots of other stuff I could be watching in my time, like, you know, productive shows. But, you know, on YouTube, on my phone at work, I just put one of these on and I'm just like, fucking hell. I went to Glastonbury when I was a kid. It was free in those days. A lot of poetry. I mean, like, this is just crying about having to pay for stuff is wild.
To pay for my ticket.
Bro, just say you're poor. Just say that you made life decisions that led you to not being middle class. Actually, that's unfair because it's not in everyone's hands. But just say you're mad, you're poor. Just say that. Say I'm sad that I am poor and I have to pay for things like all the other people. Any half man, half biscuit fans in tonight? Those guys have threads of their. I don't know who that is.
Ticket and Cat's ticket, even though they were tickets that I got them through the band, but like it was like a charitable donation or some such nonsense. Yeah, a charitable donation.
So you helped someone with tax evasion or tax avoidance. You made a charitable donation to them and got something in exchange.
Fucking Ticketmaster. Anyway, so yeah.
This guy's a moron. Like, I genuinely, I'm just, wow, he had to pay for a ticket and now he's upset about that because rich people apparently don't pay for tickets. Nah, Bowler Hat Man's not in this one. And then there's this clip here I want to discuss as well.
Sake. But yeah. So yeah. What? Oh shit! Sorry. I pressed the wrong button. Independence Day. We're going to celebrate our Independence Day. Independence from what? Independence from fucking being able to marry whoever we want. Doesn't sound like an independence to me.
Bro, that was never true though. Like if yeah, even pre-Brexit, right? If we lived my mum's dream of me getting married to someone from Bangladesh, right, who lives in Bangladesh, right? That I think is one of my mum's dreams for me, right? It's Graham Hughes, right? I would have to go through an extensive visa process to bring them here. Extensive visa process where I have to earn a certain amount of money, or we would together have to earn a certain amount of money for them to live here. So this idea that, oh, you know, pre-Brexit we could marry who you want is complete nonsense. This is a guy, I think I watched one of his other videos, he dated someone who was Australian and they, you know, she couldn't stay here because of visa reasons. This guy, complete garbage. He stays in the car leafing through with a high-end coffee bean catalogue. The dream is to open up a roastery. What, is this his dream? You can't be serious.
Being independent and being able to work wherever he wants.
Again, that's not true either. Like, work wherever you want. Like, no, like that only works in the EU. Like if I want to go work in Japan, I'd need a visa. If this was about over 10 years ago, I'd need a visa.
Say again, like I shouldn't be doing this. I should not be doing these shows.
This is the most telling thing for me from him It's about him saying I shouldn't be doing these shows, because it shows you like he does not want to be doing politics. Like this is the he's fallen into this role. Effectively he's fallen into this role. He doesn't want to be here. He wants to be doing travel stuff. He wants to go have his holidays paid by companies, by airplane companies, so he can do promotions for them
every morning. First of all, I don't want to be talking about politics, but here I am. Secondly,
because this is what I'm saying. Like this for these guys, this is one of the reasons why they're so shit at this. It's not a passion for them. He's doing this because he feels like he has to. This is the way he makes money. It's the easiest way for him to probably make money. I do this because I'm interested in this. That's why I love covering politics. Like I've been interested in politics since I was about 16. I'm 20. I'm 29 tomorrow, guys. It's my birthday tomorrow. I'm gonna be 2019. I've been following this since about 2010. Probably about 15 years ago to around now. When was the 2010 general election? That's the answer. That's when I started getting interested in this stuff. Let me have a look. 2010 general election. Yeah, that's when, around May. So about just over. Let me see. I'll tell you when actually. It was when the revolution televised. When I watched this show as well, 2012. So, that's when I first watched that show, I was like, wow, this stuff's well interesting. Yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow, guys. So I've been interested in this stuff for about 12 years, right? This is a guy who came back to the UK to campaign against Brexit in 2016. If this was a guy who had actual political understanding, he would have come back in 2015 and helped that Labour campaign, because that one needed all the help it could get. But beyond that, that's what would have stopped Brexit in the first place. But it's when his livelihood was impacted, that's when he was like, oh shit, I best do something here. He's just selfish.
And, I love this. I love having this chat with you. And even if I won the lottery tomorrow, I guess I would still do shows like this.
Would you fuck, bro? You'd fuck off somewhere.
It's maybe not as...
I'm curious, how would you feel about policies like all domestic property to be owned by the occupants, no non-resident landlords, all companies must be cooperatively owned? I don't think something like that would work, the cooperative element of companies being owned. I think it'd be impossible for them to scale up, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It means there'd be more competition. So yeah, like, so with the non-resident, so no non-resident landlord, so all houses to be owned by the occupants, that would be good. I think it'd be, I'd have to see practicalities of it. It's not that bad an idea though. So it's just a question of how is that system going to work? Like, are you allocated a house by, I don't know, the council or something like that, or because that takes away that takes away the renting sector completely. So that would be interesting. I'd have to know practically how that worked. Is it true that Phil makes 70k? I don't care how much money the guy makes, to be honest with you. I'm not that bothered. So like, I'm happy for him to make money from YouTube, because all that means is that I'm not reserved on it. Oh no, I did. All that means for me is that there's, the more these guys' channel grows, like him and Max and things like that, the more runway that means there is for me potentially to build my channel. It's good. The higher the ceiling is for them, the higher it is for me, effectively. If those guys capped out at, I don't know, like say 100k subs, then I'd be like, oh, this, it's gonna be tricky to grow my channel. But because those guys, their channels keep growing. Now, fair enough, mine's stuck, but that's probably because I don't upload as much as I should. Because I'm kind of struggling with this news cycle, so crazy. It is quite difficult to figure out what to actually cover. So I don't care how much money he makes. It's just I don't want his coverage to be shit, considering how big his channel is. Like, I don't want his coverage to be shit, given that around over 1,400 people watched it. Yeah, his coverage is shit. The same thing with the Hat Boy. That's why I go after him as well. His coverage is trash. James O'Brien as well. The coverage is trash, and it deserves criticism, like good criticism. And I think I can do good criticism, with a taste of spite mixed in with it. You can rent out rooms in your own house or run a B2B business, a B&B. Okay. Sounds okay, I guess. I don't like, how are you buying a house in this economy, like in this system? That'll be my question.
Maybe not as an intent, maybe not with such an intense schedule, but I still like to do this kind of
bro, like you do. You do one live stream a day, which is light work, right? You're not working a 9 to 5, pal. You do one live stream. You do a couple of other live streams during the day with other people. Like, it's not hard, guys. Like, bro, I could, if I really wanted to, right? And if I locked in, I could do my 9 to 5 schedule and probably do his schedule, just obviously not at the same time in terms of time slots, but I could easily do it. Like, it's not that much more difficult. The fact that, I'm on the Sunday roast as well when me and Alex bring that back, like, it's not that deep, guys. Like, especially when my analysis is leagues above his, in my opinion, anyways.
Well, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing
this is the kicker right here. This is the bit where he's talking about how he should be doing traveling stuff.
My job as a travel presenter.
When were you ever a travel presenter on your channel? On your channel, right? I've seen nothing to indicate you would be a travel presenter. You got how to make a proper Scouts. That's the tutorial. You've got you going to a tour of New York, which has nothing to do with Brexit, and then you going around the world 1 second in every country. So, like, I'm not seeing it, guy.
Presenting stuff around Europe.
So my guess is that he would be very unlikely. YouTubers don't earn even much at his level. I'd guess under half. Nah, he makes more than. Trust me. I think he makes around the 70k figure.
Obviously, I can't get much work in this country because I didn't go to private school, and they only allow.
Oh, people... mate, don't do that. It's better to have Labour austerity than Conservative austerity. Like that guy's another headbanger, to be honest with you. But I haven't got enough ammunition to deal with everyone. It can't be me, guys. I'm not the content cop this channel. This space needs. I'm not him. In this arena, I can't be going after everyone. I know who you're talking about. I'm trying to remember his YouTube name. I can't remember his YouTube handle. I watch his videos. You know what? I'm subscribed to him on my second channel. I'm actually subscribed to him. I don't know his name. Well, instead of paying rent, your current landlord must sell the property to the existing tenant with the payments the current rent rate spread over. What if they can't afford it? Is this YouTube channel? No, that's not it. I unsubbed to those like Bowler Hat Man who are ignorant towards Scottish politics after all these political podcasts. It's about UK, but it's all about England though. Let's be serious. It is all about England. That's all it's about. I'm subscribed to so many YouTube channels. I can't remember the guy's name, man. It's pissed me off because he uploaded recently. He uploaded a video recently about it. What annoys me is he always cries like, "Oh, I get so many mean comments." Like, you're on the internet, G. Of course you can get mean comments. If they can't afford the current rent they're paying, that's a dumb question. How do you dictate what the house value is? Say, no, that's a dumb question as well because you're saying calculate over 35 years. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I'd have to know how. I don't know. I'd have to see a country do it. It is quite radical. But I don't think necessarily it's a bad idea to kind of get more housing in the market. So yeah, I don't know. It's not a bad idea. I think. I'm trying to find the guy's video. I'm not going to find it because I consume way too much content. Like, my friend said I'm chronically online, and he's right. I think I am chronically online. But yeah, we'll leave it. I can't remember the guy's name. It's gonna bug me for a while. I think I will remember it eventually. He just doesn't upload that much. So give me one more second. I want to see if I can find it. This is prime coverage that you guys are witnessing here. Absolute prime coverage. The best streams. So I don't know. I can't find it. I'm about to give up. Yeah, I give up. Okay, I can't find it. I'm sure I'll remember the guy's name eventually. I didn't put the phone down. But yeah, no, I think in my opinion, yeah, there's a lot of clowns in the space, to be honest. But like I said, I haven't got enough for all of them. If I was full time though, honestly, it would be a game changer. But I'm kind of happy with where I am. So that's that. Let's carry on.
People who travel on the TV, it's got to be someone who can already afford to do that. So it makes sense that the license payer has to pay for their jolly to another nice country, and they get to stay in a nice hotel, followed by a crew and given all the food that they can eat.
This is a guy who's like mad because he wanted to be like a film director or something like that as well.
And it's all very nice. And I think, considering they all went to private school, they're all very rich to start with, I think it's only fair they should be given a free holiday courtesy of the BBC license fee payer. But, if us staties ever do get to make our own TV show about travel.
Lena made a claim a while back, if the likes are earning even half of that, then they won't be getting my financial. What?
I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to send them to like somewhere really fucking dangerous, like maybe call the show like Holidays in the Danger Zone or something, and Conga. Let's do, or friends, come here. I've got a great idea, right? We allow one lad who went to like a normal comprehensive school, and what we'll do is we'll send him around the world to go and see the seven.
Yeah, an idiot abroad. Yeah, I've had this one.
Anyway, I can't do these shows in Europe anymore that I used to do.
So like this what I mean, like he's heartbroken because Brexit's personal. This what I mean for these guys, like Brexit is personal to them.
Anyway, I can't do these shows in Europe anymore that I used to do, these little promos.
This is why they hate Jeremy Corbyn, because stuff like this.
Different, airline companies or travel companies or whatever, because I need a visa now to work in Europe. I need permission off some motherfucker. I've got to pay for it.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Like this guy, he's so entitled. He hates paying for things. Hates paying for festival tickets. Hates paying for visas. Like this is a guy who thinks you can just marry anyone, regardless of where they are in the world. Even though like there's always been issues with that, especially for non-EU countries.
As there's a few million Irish people who are just as good looking as me, just as erudite, just as garrulous, and they can do the job for a lot less money.
So then, why would the airline companies not just hire them in the first place then?
Good a job, less money.
So that sounds like you didn't have a chance in the first place, G. If that's the case,
that's what they like, innit?
Like this, the most
I've been priced out of that particular market. So when I say I shouldn't be here, I mean like literally should not be doing this show. I know that's a bit shit for you because you'd have to get up in the morning and have to listen to something else before James O'Brien comes on the radio at 10 o'clock. But
do you guys think this is a cry for help? Do you think he's do you think this is a man just having a midlife crisis? Like genuinely, like
I digress.
Just, like honestly, like if you don't enjoy doing politics, just go find something else because your analysis is shit, mate. If all you're doing this is for money, then fair enough. But then don't get mad. Don't get mad when people criticize you for a start. Don't get mad when your ideas don't pan out because you're not committed. Like you have to have some base understanding of what the topics are, and you don't have that. That's why you got duped by a knight. You were so desperately chasing a check from Labour, you couldn't see what was clearly in front of you. There are 8 million households in the UK that are not for sale, but all for rent. Rent is basically a tax on a third of the population, charged by those who own more than they need. Because it's historically okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see I'd have to listen to more about your proposal, to be honest. But I think they need to empty houses need to be either sold or taken by the council, and the council can figure out what to do with them in terms of like turning into social housing and whatnot. But yeah. We'll have to see, but I don't know. This man's having a midlife crisis.
Right, so let's have a look at the
tragic. It's a cry for help there. I haven't seen much behind the scenes of monetization. I'm sure Phil makes a wage, but it doesn't get. Normally, you get £1 per 1,000 views. Look, I'll show you guys. Should we go see behind my? Because he'll make more money than me. Because he gets high view count. The amount I make it's not a lot, but it's fine. It's not my full-time job, but what you want to look at is revenue per 1,000. Revenue per 1,000 views. So that's the key here. So if you, because he's got memberships as well, don't forget. Like if you guys are serious about discussing this, so I don't make a lot because I don't upload that much. I don't have the viewers, but it doesn't matter. Like like at the moment here, you know, it says £4.23 per 1,000 views, which is abnormal, which is incredibly high. I don't think generally it's not that high. I go on any of my videos, dashboard. That's not helpful. Go on this, for example. Does it say? Normally it should tell me RPMs, but I think I need to find a video that's done better than that. There's a way you can check, because what you want is revenue per 1,000 views. So it might be this one. Does it say? There's a way to check. Say revenue. So there it is. Like revenue per 1,000 views is generally about £1. So you're looking at 1,000 views gives you £1. So if you get a video with 30,000 views, you probably make about £30 on that one video. So there's that. So that's kind of the thing you want to be looking at. So you probably just make good money. He's got a membership, it's got Patreon as well. Like, like it's up to you guys who you want to support. There's no issue there. In my heart of hearts, Corbyn was a Brexiteer, yeah. 100%. 100%, I think he's a Brexiteer. He hated the EU when he was before we joined. I think it was called the EEC back then. He hated it. He hated the he hated the EU. I'll be honest. So I think personally, for me, I think he was always a Brexiteer. Yeah, I'd say that. So I don't think he ever believed in the European project. So yeah, I'd say he was a Brexiteer. I think he had to support Remain because of the party's position. It would have been untenable if he supported Brexit. But also, I don't think he supported a Brexit where the Conservatives would lead. What? He did. He protested. He protested before the UK joined this, that version of the EU. So he did. He was one of the he didn't like it. So that is true. He protested against it. He's on the record about it. He was not. I don't think he believed in Brexit. I mean, I don't think he believed in the EU at all, or for the most part. So I don't know. So I personally, for me, I think he's a Brexiteer. Like, it's not a bad thing, but thank you, Ruth. Appreciate that. So yeah, I think I appreciate it, Ruth. I think for me personally, he was Brexiteer. Yeah. But yeah, so I haven't got much more to discuss. Tell you what, though, I did want to get this cool poster at some point, though. I might get one for my friend for his birthday. Yeah, that's cool. Big up Renoir, the goat. But yeah, no. I genuinely, I don't. I think he's a Brexiteer. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be. But yeah, is there anything else you guys want to discuss before I head off for today? I don't think there's a lot more to really talk about. I don't think there's much more happening. To be honest, like in terms of things worth discussing. Flash flood in Texas, which is tragic. Yeah, a lot of deaths there. I think that's gonna probably tick up that number based on the reporting. Sad to see Diogo Jota and Andre Silva pass away in an accident. It just show you despite how rich you are, when it's your time, it's your time. Elon Musk says he's launching a new political party. That should be fun. David Lammy, first UK minister to visit Syria. 2011. Former MP loses whip. We've discussed that. Someone addicted to ketamine. Superman movie coming out. I'm gonna watch that next Saturday. So there won't be a live stream next Saturday. Watching the Son of Krypton. Town marks into not much going on really. I think in the world. To be honest with you guys. So yeah, unless you guys got anything you want to discuss. If you don't know what the same as Tony Benn, that's true. Yeah, he's very much a guy who was who didn't like the idea, I think, of freedom of movement, who didn't like the idea of you know, like kind of like a super. I think it's called a supranational organization making rules and such. Elena said earlier he was a Brexit moved to calling for a second referendum because the part. Yeah, that's you know, I said that as well. He didn't have a choice really because the party was so strongly pro EU, like the membership was so strongly pro EU that, you know, he would have caused a massive split in the party, like a huge split if he had backed Brexit effectively. Like I think he would have actually ruptured the party really badly, like if he had done it because of the way the membership was back then. So yeah, he didn't have a choice really. That's why he didn't back a second referendum in 2017. Because he wanted Brexit to happen. I think he was confident in us leaving the EU and holding at high standards, similar to kind of like a Norway. That's probably the model he would have gone for, a Norwegian kind of Brexit. I think it would have been more possible staying in the single market back then, purely because we're already a member, and they would have been making allocations for a member to effectively lose voting rights. I'm sure they would have been okay with that back then, anyways, because I think they were given similar proposals to Theresa May, although they were meant to be temporary. That's what he would have wanted. But fundamentally, I think he did not believe in the European project, which is fine. It's up to him. I disagree with him ultimately, but you know, he's his own man. You know, one thing we know about Jeremy Corbyn is that he is his own man. Like, you know, he's a very hard man to bully. You know, as you know, a lot of the Labour goons figured out. So, you know, like, he's a guy I do have some respect for, although I do think he's a guy who probably shouldn't have been leader of the Labour Party at any point because of the fact that he's had such a long political career of being on the side of some not so palatable characters, shall I say, some really dodgy groups and things like that, which, you know, it makes sense because of who he is, but it also massively kind of hampers a party, I guess. But I wish he was in charge of Labour now 100%, because it'd be a lot better. But you can't have it all. If only Starmer was there in charge of the 2017, 2019 general elections, get absolutely washed by May and Boris Johnson, and then we could have had Corbyn now. That would have been great. So confused on the single market. Can't the UK be? Please, my brother in Christ, there's no way. There's no way you haven't seen probably the best video I've put out on this history of this channel, in terms of quality, in terms of information. You haven't seen my best video. You can't be serious, guy. That's my finest work right there. You haven't seen my best video. You haven't seen my best work. This is my best work here, guys. Look at this. Look at this. I've got 4 Spider-Mans there. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4 Spider-Mans. This video is so old, it's before I used dark mode. How have you not seen this? Is my best work. Look at this. So in this segment, we're going to be talking about why the UK simply can't or won't rejoin the EU single market. There's a bloody script here. I stopped doing scripts. Look at the sourcing, guys. Look at this. All of these sources. Crazy. This is how good I used to be when I had nothing better to do apart from make YouTube videos. Look at this. Look at this beautiful work right here. Sources for days. So many. I think I don't know if this one broke the word limit on YouTube, so I had to omit some. Look at this. There's so much research. Look at all of that. All of this scripting. All of this stuff. So much work's gone into this. Crazy amounts of work. I was still in light mode back then. This is before I realised Word had dark mode. Yeah, I'll drop the link in the chat. Should hopefully. It's annoying when the bastards overlook your best. It's fine. This video is one of my better performing videos. It's got 4K views. Take that all day. But yeah, got a load of comments as well. This is my boy. This was Dano. I miss him loads. He sadly passed away a couple of years ago. I think it was last year actually. He passed away, my goat fam. Am I in his favourites playlist? I better be.
There's absolutely.
Am I in his favourites playlist? I'll be sad. I'll be sad if I'm not. I'm not gonna go through it, actually. No. That's my goat right there. My goat from Never Be Washed. I do miss him loads there. Even the Viking was here. Yeah, no, this is some of my finest work. Right here, you guys should keep it. No. So yeah. Is the EU not aware the British are special? Oh, so many good comments. I do miss this audience. I do miss because it's a very different to the audience I have now in terms of like there's a lot of Europeans that used to watch my content. So yeah, just imagine. So yeah, no, I do miss it. So yeah, these are like veterans of the channel who were around for so long, during the Brexit years. My proudest videos. Yeah, that's Yui as well. I miss him. So yeah. Yeah, Darian, he was a goat. I don't know if he's still got a membership, but that's my goat. Another goat right there. Yeah, all of these people, I do miss them loads. I hope they're all doing well. Yeah, it's one of my best content pieces. This one and is Sanity, the price to pay for power, but I don't know where that one is. That one, I'll tell you what. Let me find. Bear with me, guys. I'll show you the other one. That's also. This one probably the best in terms of there's no one else in the space that can put out a video like this. No one. But I can show you there's another one. There was another one as well, which was my team versus the enemy team. Yeah, my soundboard's out of commission, so I need to rebuild it. But I'll show you. There's another one. This one here is probably the other great video I did. So in this segment we're going to be discussing Labour. Is Sanity the... So this, you can tell with this one, this one I'm in dark mode, so you can tell, and I had help with the scripting on this one. There's 3 videos I'm really proud of. This is one of them. The price to pay for power ? It's so good because I've got the thingies in here that I bothered to put in the timestamps, and that's a question we're going to be discussing. And then I even put this in. Where's that clip? Support for victim services. The measures outlined in the bill disproportionately and unnecessarily remove the rights. There it is. Commentators are trying to justify these policy shifts, and they get tied up in their analysis in their video. Damn, who else have we seen get tied up in their own analysis? Videos and programs, and it just gets embarrassing after a certain point. Thus, we ask the question:
The price to pay for power.
So, yeah, no, I do miss. Honestly, this era of YouTube was so good for me, but yeah, the game's changed now. I'm still as good as I was back then, but it's not as fun. It used to be fun. It's just not fun anymore. But because at least with the Tories, I knew what to expect with them. I knew they're gonna be shit. I knew they'd always give me stuff I can criticize it pretty easily, and it's just a machine of nonsense that they had. Endless walls of nonsense. But with this lot, God knows what they're gonna do next. Honestly. It's such a mess. But yeah, there was another video I was really proud of, but I can't remember the name of it, guys. I'm sorry. It was about like how the EU can start a trade war in like a week. Had to do with the fishing stuff, but I can't. That was another banger video, to be fair. Back when I had time to do scripting and stuff like that. But no, I just react to other people's stuff, which is fine. Maybe I'm about to have a midlife crisis now, like Graham did on stream.
Swear to God, put that on put that on Allah. Say wallahi, bro. Say wallahi.
Sorry, that clip makes me laugh so much. So stupid. But that's all from me, guys. I think there's not much more for me to say. Yeah, you got like consistently above 20 viewers, which is nice. In the stream, I'm gonna be 29 in about an hour, so it's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. I think I might be one of the youngest people in the space as well, which is wild. Because I think I'm younger than most of the other people that are doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, we do. Honestly, that quote from Adler is a great one. You know, we don't just sit back and hope for the best. We make the best happen. So yeah, I'm gonna be 29 tomorrow, guys. So I'm pretty scared. Next year I'm gonna be 30. Crazy, innit? It's crazy. Like, yeah, I still remember setting this channel up and how nervous I was to do my old content, and you know now it's 8K subs. It's, you know, I'm on Sunday Roast podcast. You know, I'd love to have more media appearances. So other people want to be on their channels, I'd appreciate it. Just because it's easy work for me, honestly. I just have to, you know, be myself really. There's no like editing or anything I have to do. But yeah, no, it's all good. I'm happy. Just gotta hope the channel goes okay, but yeah, gotta keep it on the right track. I think it's difficult, but find time and stuff. Time is my biggest enemy. But yeah. At least I know these guys will never be as good as me, because they're always skewed by their own biases. That's their problem. Skewed by, you know, lives they wish they had. They just don't. They can't be happy with what they have. You know, dude wants to be a Harlem Globetrotter going around the world filming stuff, things like that. You know, so it's just crazy to me. Like, you can't, you know, like, you know how some of these people don't understand how privileged they are. You know, going Glastonbury is a privilege. You know, being mad you have to pay for it is crazy, but it does show you how entitled some people are. Do you know what I mean? But you know, those are people that will always be sad in life, because you'll never get the things that other people get. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, no, it's all good, guys. I'm gonna go. I got this this app's not a sponsored thing, but there's this app called Too Good to Go. So basically, Too Good to Go is like, you know, food that will get thrown out or whatever. They sell it to you on the cheap. So you know, certain places are on there. It's really good. So yeah, you know, I recommend the app, honestly, if you guys want to use it. I don't think there's an affiliate code for it or anything, but it's good if you want to get like donuts and junk on the cheap, and other kinds of junk food. It's really good for that. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. It's been good, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna be 29 tomorrow, and I'll still be doing content and things like that. Nothing really changes, I think, for me, at least for now, anyways. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for the super chats and stuff. Thanks for like just hanging out with me for the last hour and a bit. I don't want to make it a constant of flaming other people on YouTube and stuff, but like for me personally, I get annoyed at other people who are just complete dog shit at their job. Nothing infuriates me more than people that are shit at their jobs. Like when I do bad, you know, like I whiffed last week pretty badly, on my work. Do you know what I mean? Like I felt bad. But you know, with these guys, it's just, we're just gonna make another bad video after another bad video. If DJ Khaled of misses, here comes another one. Do you know what I mean? But anyways, guys, I'm gonna sign off for the night. I'll catch you guys probably in about 2 weeks. I might do a stream on Monday. It depends how I feel, but regardless, I'll catch you guys soon. Bye bye.